What workforce trends and priorities are impacting the property landscape across South Australia in 2026? Today we are joined by Simone Christensen, an experienced human resources business partner in the property and real estate space, and Kylie Lange, founder at the PM4, to break down what is shaping hiring decisions, career choices and workforce planning across the property market. Supported by the data from Australia's leading employment report, our guest industry experts will look at what workforce priorities are leading the change for property teams, what skills are becoming essential for property professionals in 2026, what trends will shape the property market in the next 12 months, and are businesses moving quickly enough on AI or taking the right level of caution? Hello and welcome to Edge Recruitment's 2026 Property Market Analysis. My name is Peta Seaman and I'm the Managing Director here in our Adelaide office. Jumping straight into it today, what trends are shaping the property market in 2026? Let's quickly set the scene for the property and real estate market based on the latest data from our 2026 Employment and Salary Trends Report. Heading into 2026, the market is showing signs of greater stability, but pressure across teams remains very real. Last year was mixed. Some employers saw improvement, while others still were dealing with turnover and stretched resources. This year, the outcome is more balanced. More businesses are expecting conditions to stabilise or improve. But that does not mean the sector has become easier to manage. Property teams are still carrying heavy workloads. Many organisations are trying to hire while already feeling under-resourced. That creates a market where recruitment is not just about growth. It is also about protecting service levels, reducing pressure on existing teams, and making sure portfolios continue to be managed effectively. Demand is strong across operational and portfolio-facing roles. Lease administrators, commercial property managers, facilities and operation managers, residential property managers and strata managers are all part of the hiring picture. These are practical business critical roles. When hiring is delayed, service delivery can be affected quickly. The hardest roles to fill are also in these areas where experience matters most. That includes residential property managers, facility and operations, and commercial property managers. This tells us employers are still competing for people who can step in quickly, manage complexity, and build trust with stakeholders. Overall, this is a more stable property market than last year, but it is still a stretched and competitive one. So from shifting candidate expectations to growing demand for specialist skills, employers are navigating big changes in 2026. To break down more about what is actually happening in the market across South Australia, we are joined today by Simone Christensen, an experienced human resources business partner in the property and real estate space, and Kylie Lange, founder at the PM4. Thank you for both joining me today. I'll start with you, Simone. So at the end of 2025, as per our report, 65% of property and real estate teams plan to grow in 2026 to keep up with rising market demands. For you and your team, how would you describe the first half of 2026 in your market and region, and does that match what you were expecting at the tail end of last year?
Thank you, Peter. Yeah, I think we're definitely seeing this continued pressure across the property and housing sectors, increasing demand, changing market conditions, and really a challenge on building capabilities within the organizations. We have had a strong focus on attracting and retaining skilled people whilst investing in that capability development. I think it's not just about increasing headcounts anymore. It's really about sustainable growth and having the right structures in place, and balancing growth with resilience as well, and ensuring teams are equipped for that.
Yeah, of course. Definitely some challenges there. Despite 65% of property and real estate teams planning growth in 2026, 62% still describe themselves as under-resourced. What has been the biggest shift you have seen in the market, and what are you expecting from property professionals?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the biggest shift we've seen is the move from hiring purely based on technical skills and experience towards hiring more for capability. We're
Mm,
more increasingly looking for the right mindset, people who are adaptable, willing to learn, who can collaborate effectively, and are more aligned with our organization's purpose and value. Whilst technical skills are is still important, absolutely, and especially in this industry, they can be developed. So,
yeah.
really important to find those people that's willing to grow. I think we come back a little bit to AI, but AI is making it more difficult to rely on sort of the traditional recruitment process. It can be really
Mm,
hard to identify the behind the applications when we're getting them in. So one of the things we would really like to see is we definitely have a desire to bring back personality into the recruitment process and making sure we have those genuine conversations, understanding how people think and how they work.
yeah, it's so critical to meet those people in person with all the challenges we have around recruitment with AI as well. What skills or capabilities do you think are becoming the most important for property and real estate professionals to stay ahead in 2026?
I think that continuous learning mindset, our
Mhm.
property professionals can no longer just rely on solely what they already know. An ability to stay curious, seek development opportunities, and having skills to be adaptable, even with a strong technical skill set, will be something that really sets people apart in the next 12 months, I would say.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. Like, we're definitely all on a big learning curve here, aren't we? All together. How do
Yes.
you think the yeah, absolutely. How do you think the role of property and real estate teams have evolved over the last 6 months? And additionally, how have expectations around what businesses are needing from their property and real estate teams changed on that way, along with that?
Yeah, great question. I think there's a growing expectation for property professionals to really understand the broader impact of their work, including their customers' outcomes, the community expectations, and to some extent, even the organizational strategy. Emotional intelligence becomes increasingly important, and that ability to build relationships, understand different perspectives, and influence positive outcomes is just critical. The best outcomes are often achieved through collaboration rather than the technical expertise alone. So that's where I would say we really evolved in the last 6 months very fast as well.
Excellent, thank you. Excluding AI, if you were to look ahead to the rest of 2026 and into 2027, what trends do you think will most shape or impact the property and real estate landscape?
Excellent. We know that housing demands and affordability pressures will continue to have a significant influence across the sector. So I think that need for affordable, accessible, and sustainable housing solutions will continue to shape the investment decisions, policy
Mm,
priorities, and service delivery models. Um, I think for the professionals, that's going to mean an increased focus on customer and community expectations. So this will keep evolving, and workforce capabilities will just be a major theme, especially in my world. Making
mm.
sure that everybody has the tools that they need to actually do the job.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for your insights today. I really appreciate that. So I'd like to bring in our second guest for today's update, Kylie Lange, founder from the PM Poor. Welcome, Kylie.
Hi, Peter. Thanks so much for having me.
No problem. Thanks for joining us. All right. At the end of 2025, as per our report, 65% of property and real estate teams planned to grow in 2026 to keep up with rising market demand. How would you describe the first half of 2026 in the market? And do you think that has matched up with what others in the industry were predicting?
Yeah, well, I think the growth is still there. Absolutely. Most businesses will always generally continue to plan for growth every year. What that looks like, of course, varies from business to business. And was it successful for some? Well, maybe, and maybe less successful for others. When it comes to that, it's because of every business is different, right? And the businesses that are generally thriving are probably the ones that are a little bit more efficient when it comes to using AI in the way of automating for admin, improving workflows and so forth. They may be more focused on your client service side of things because that is so important now as well. And they may be more efficient when it comes to retention in technology team members, looking at education, like what Simone was talking about as well, and making their business the business of choice as well.
Yeah, it's definitely an important factor for a lot of businesses at the moment. We're having lots of conversations around that, so it's exciting times. Have you seen businesses that you work with experience any big shifts over the past 6 months in the priorities, pressures, or expectations that may not have been there previously?
Yeah, so property managers are still, to some degree, feeling a little bit under-resourced, some in cases with lack of support and technology. And of course, there's expectations which are soaring continuously. And this isn't just with the property management or the real estate industry. This is overall as a society. So making sure that businesses move in line with that. So there's so many things that have happened over the past 6 months. There's tenancy reforms happening around the country. That's been over the last 5+ years or so. And then, of course, there's been more recent changes from the government's point of view when it comes to negative gearing, capital gains tax, which impacts our industry. And so with all that going on, there's always extra pressure put on businesses, put on property managers and so forth. And then we're looking at the question with regards to how we can actually manage that. And what I see businesses looking at from the best way to managing it is looking at their processes, really, restructuring where needing to, making sure that they align their processes align with being able to solve the current problems of their clients. So then they have to look at, well, what are the problems our clients currently experiencing? How can we help them? What do we need to change our business in order to make this successful? Who is responsible for making this actually happen? So what I've seen, the way business is managing is actually pivoting when it comes to their processes and actually streamlining and refining what they do.
Yeah, sure. There definitely is a lot changing in that world, and I think they've got a lot of things to consider when they're putting their processes together. So thank you for that.
Yeah, definitely.
What areas would you suggest business owners should be investing in or exploring potential growth in to stay ahead of the changing market?
Oh my gosh, that's such a good question because there's a couple of things really. It's technology and AI, making sure that they're using the software, using the AI to enhance their people. It's not to replace their people, using it to their advantage, not just so that they can add extra properties under management, because previously what I've seen happen is that business owners will take software, take AI on board, and then their people are looking, okay, well, that's moved from my position. What happens now? So they say, well, let's bring on more properties under management. But what their people really need to be able to do is to service the the people who currently touch their business better. So they can also spend time developing their people and their leadership teams as well, which is a crucial area that they need to invest in, because our industry is such a people-orientated industry still. That hasn't changed, even with the introduction of AI and, additional pieces of software and so forth. Developing an A1 landlord experience as well. Businesses who prioritise the experiences of the people who touch their business are potentially going to be the ones who continue to grow, and making sure that they have services that are on offer for their landlords and their tenants. Do they have business partners, for example, who they can rely on when it comes to maybe mortgage brokers who can then do financial health checks for their clients, moving companies to be able to help their tenants move successfully, and then, of course, really utilising connection services and insurance companies for both their landlords and their tenants. Sometimes what actually happens is that businesses offer financial services to become business partners with business owners, of course. And you need to be able to look at all the services attached to the industry and then partner up, but actually use them to their full advantage, not just sign a partnership document and then not use them.
Yeah, some great advice there. I do specifically love the let's use this to better service our clients, which I think is a great way to look at it, and hopefully helps everyone get that little bit extra time to be able to do that. How do you think the role of property and real estate teams have evolved over the last 6 months, and what advice would you have for business owners that have experienced this?
Oh, look, I think what has really evolved a lot over the 6 months is the embracing AI more. So people are really taking that on board and running with it, and that's just going to continue. But I think the other area as well, the advice that I have for business owners, I think that you need to, I mentioned it before with regards to processes, making sure that you invest time in your policies and your procedures and your processes, tweaking them to ensure that your business can manage the expectations, because of course, high expectations are only going to continue to grow. And like I said, not as an industry specifically, but as a society overall. So we need to be able to make sure that we've got processes in board within the office to be able to manage those expectations and better service our clients and so forth. We also need to take into consideration the team. We need to also look at the strengths and the weaknesses of each individual within a team member. How can we best support team members? Is the team, I think Simone mentioned it before as well, educated well enough to manage changes in legislation? And like I said, it's not just legislation when it comes to things like the Residential Tenancies Act, but it comes with other different types of legislation, such as your negative gearing and so forth. Your team members need to be able to learn and understand all of that so they can best help your clients and so forth. You need to be able to say to yourself, I want my business to grow. How? What team members of mine need to grow with me, and how do they need to grow so that my business continues to grow?
Yeah, that's perfect advice. Thank you. Looking ahead to the next 12 months, what do you think will be the biggest challenge for property and real estate businesses, and how do you think they will need to respond?
Oh, look, I think it again comes back to the expectation side of things and managing those expectations. It's going to be a thorn in our side until we change the way we do things. Managing expectations, like I said, doesn't have to be that thorn in our side. We need to just accept the fact that that's a thing now. But what are we going to do about it? How are we going to solve the problem and manage those expectations, those high expectations that are continuously growing and soaring? So we need to be able to do that continuously. We need to be able to redefine what our offerings actually look like, have clear communication plans, because that's extremely important as a part of managing those expectations. We need to be able to build a team of specialists. And I think that goes back to the strengths and weaknesses that I talked about as well. Prioritise well-being of our team members, because that helps retain our team members. We want to be able to make our business the business of choice. We need to be able to have great culture, have incentives, salaries, great salaries, professional development, great leaders, be able to care about our team members. We need to be able to offer that. And if you're not a business owner who are not really of a caring nature, you know what, that's totally fine. But what you need to be able to do is employ a leader in your business who does have that caring nature about them. Growth will continue to come to those who care and build a team of specialists who can actually solve the problems of what their current clients need. Just because governments change legislation doesn't mean it's the end of the world. We just need to be able to learn those new legislation pieces and grow with it, so that we can be able to educate our clients as required. We need to be able to know how to support our investors and be the business who can actually provide that team of specialists who can advise professionally on things that matter to them. We also need to make sure that we are the business of choice, where the quality professionals want to come and work and be aligned with your business. So they are probably the most important things from my perspective.
Thank you. Some great insights there, Kylie. Before we wrap up, I'd like to bring both of you in for a broader view across both markets, looking at AI and its impact on the property space. I'll start this time with you, Kylie. Our report shows that 75% of property and real estate teams have started using AI to maximise efficiency. In the property and real estate space, do you think businesses are moving fast enough with AI, moving too slowly, or taking the right level of caution?
Well, I think most of them already have AI integrated into their business. But I think more along the lines is the question, are they using it adequately? So AI continues to evolve, like having AI agents and so forth. Is your business ready for that? Look at your processes again. People still need to be able to manage people and, of course, those pesky expectations and so forth. So having the AI integrated into software systems but not using it to the full capacity, that in itself is a problem. So I guess you need to look at you really need to manage the software and make sure that you are using it to its full capacity. And with that, and if you're using the AI component of your software correctly, then that frees up time for your people who can then spend time building relationships, because that's also what's going to help you grow your business. There's no need to retrench people. There's no need for people to be sitting around twiddling their thumbs anymore. It's all about using AI and making sure that you're using it to the best of its ability, have it on your side, and make sure that your team know and understand how to talk to people, because that's another issue that we have. So are they moving fast enough? I think they're moving about the right speed from what I see. They just probably could maybe speed it up a fraction and use it in the correct manner. That's what I think in itself.
Perfect. Thank you. And what about in your area, Simone? Are you seeing similar patterns in how businesses are approaching AI, and how is that beginning to shift expectations within accounting and finance teams?
Absolutely, thank you. I think that's such a good point by Kylie as well, that AI has that possibility to remove some of that administrative burden on people and really create space for people to do people things, and putting humans back in our processes. So the collaboration, the creativity, the problem solving, the relationship building, which AI will never be able to do. So ultimately, I really hope that that's the way we're going as well, that AI allows us to become more human in our work, not less. I think the speed is interesting to talk about. I think all organizations are sort of have sat, most of the organizations I work with have sat a little bit more on the fence with AI. And the matter of the fact is that AI is already here, and we need to recognize that the conversation needs to move beyond whether people will use it. They're already using it. So we need to ensure that everybody's doing that in a responsible and effective way. I think we have a real opportunity here to give people the right tools, the right guidance, and the right governance from the start, to really use AI well. In that, and this is probably from my background as well, AI does pose a bit of a risk to our teams because we are using AI to remove our routine tasks from our day. So we end up just with 8 hours of complex cognitive work, which really no one can do essentially. So I think as leaders, we also have to think about, but how are we going to protect the employees from not just ending up in this cognitive world where they have to think big thoughts every single day, every hour of the day, because that will burn everybody out essentially. So I think it's interesting what's happening, but we definitely have to put those safeguards around it as well, and make sure we do it in the right way.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with a lot of what you've just said, and making sure our teams take the breaks when they need to as well. A big thank you to both of you for your time today and for giving us some incredible insights into this market. If anyone watching today is wanting to reach out to get in touch with either Simone Christensen or Kylie Lange, you can visit the comments for all information below. And thank you both once again. Just a reminder that all insights shared today are based off the 2026 Employment and Salary Trends Report. If you'd like a deeper dive into salaries, benefits and workplace trends across your market, you can request your copy today by scanning the QR code on screen now or by clicking the link in the comments below. Lastly, whether you're looking to grow your career or build your team with the right talent, Edge Recruitment can help. As an award-winning recruitment agency, we operate across South Australia with specialist teams in all major areas of property and real estate, including commercial and residential. For almost 3 decades, Edge Recruitment has helped individuals and businesses in property achieve their goals, and can do the same for your career and business as well. Contact details are on the screen now, or see the links in the comments to reach out to one of our team today. That's it for today. Thank you very much for joining us today for our 2026 property market update, and I'll see you next time.